everybody, it's Joni here. Welcome back to my channel for another painting tutorial. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is go over the canvas. I've got a 16 by 20 gray primed canvas. It's dry. I painted it gray myself. And I have a 50 filbert brush that I'm going to be using for the large areas, primarily the background, the sky that we're going to be starting off with. That takes us to our color palette here. I've got burnt sienna, yellow ochre, phthalo blue, Mars black, sap green, titanium white, dioxazine purple, and phthalo turquoise. So started. Remember, the list of all the colors, everything I'm using is below the video. Just click, it'll pop up and you'll see the full description. I'm going to start by taking a little bit of water on my brush, just the tiniest bit on the ends here. And I'm going to start with a little bit of white and both purple and phthalo turquoise. And I'm just going to start to lightly crisscross, weave in different directions. This is already giving us a sort of a whimsical, dreamy looking sky just by how we're applying the paint and the brush stroke. I'm going to start adding a little bit more, same colors. Going to work that down. Got a little bit too much white there, so I'm going to pull in a little bit more of my blue and turquoise, phthalo turquoise. And we'll have our path down in here. So I'm pulling a little bit flatter with my brush strokes, more side to side, and then up here, more of a crisscross. I'm going to take a little bit extra white and start adding it right here. Now before that dries, we're going to take a mop brush. The mop brush is dry itself, and we're just going to start lightly going over to blend any harsh lines. Little circles. Just a little bit like that. Okay, and then I'm going to take a little bit of white and I'm going to dab it right there. And I'm going to go around and around, making it bigger and bigger. And then just softly go around the outside again. You can make the moon as big or as small as you want. And then we're going to soften. Take a little bit more. And I'm going to start to tap on that white, a little down here, and then soften, leaving the bottom, the brightest white. It's so fun using mop brushes. Okay, then I'm going to turn the brush this way and I'm going to tap a little bit like this, soften again. And then I'm going to tap a little bit of moonlit bushes here in the background. And we're going to have our path coming in here and then veering off to the right. we can soften that as well. Good hazy look. I'm going to take a little bit of white on my pinky, and I'm just going to go around in a little circle here. Make it a little rounder. And I'm going to leave that for a little bit and just let it start to dry. And the next thing I want to do is come in with some phthalo turquoise and purple. And I'm going to start pushing and tapping some big trees in here. I'm going to reload my palette with my phthalo turquoise and purple. Don't overload your brush. And then I'll come in on this side as well. And just leave a little hint of that gray background showing. It adds a nice balance and backdrop color. Loading my brush again. And bring some little bushes. Make this path a little narrower. And then we're gonna go back to the corner here because the path is coming from back here, then it goes here, and then back here. Okay, and then I'm gonna come in on this side. Now we're just gonna continue along here. Closing this path in. Leaving some spots with a gray background. I'm going to pull and sweep. I'm going to add a little bit of white to my brush. And I'm going to add a few bright highlights. It is night, but we're getting that full moon glow. Not on everything. We want to keep it moody. And to keep it moody, we don't want to over highlight everything. So we'll just bring a little sweep just with a little bristles on the bottom. And I like to add a little bit of a curvy scoop like this. I'm going to add a little bit of water to my brush to release some of the purple and the blue out. And I'm going to start taking some of this regular phthalo blue. And I'm going to add some right here. Look at that. All the shades of blue and purple help to create the vibe and the mood to this painting. Okay, so I'm going to be using this for adding some green, and then we're going to use a different brush. We're going to add some branches and maybe some tree trunks, but I want to mix this phthalo blue with the sap green and then incorporate a little bit of this bluey green into this painting, because I think this will really add a nice touch. Okay, I'm gonna rinse that brush out. I'm going to use one of my large stipple brushes. I'm going to take some white, add a little bit more of the phthalo turquoise. Okay, so you can see how little of paint I have on my brush. I'm going to start by adding some light little taps over part of all those colors, all those layers we just added. And a little sweep. You really can't go wrong with this color palette. It's super dreamy. I'm going to mix up the rest of what's in my brush and the purple and the other blue with a little bit more white. And I'm just going to add a little bit more light right in here so that when we add our branches, they'll show up. I'm going to rinse that brush out. I'm going to take a number 3 round brush and I'm just going to lightly go around the outside of the moon here to soften these edges. Now if your paint is dry, then just take a little bit more. I will right now. And just lightly go around. And make it a little hazy looking. Then I'll take just a little bit of water on my brush and some more white. A little bit more white. You can tint your white with any of these colors here. And then I'm going to just start adding some little clouds, little half circles like this. So we did these big ones up here, and then we blended them out, and some of them are behind the tree branches, and then soften by blending very gently. I'm going to use a 20 flat brush, a little bit of water, and okay, so a little bit of tinted white, light purple that's going to show up here. And I'm going to add a little waterfall, kind of cascading just somewhere down here. Now before you leave a comment asking if these waterfalls are falling from the sky, these are fantasy paintings. It doesn't matter where they're falling from. Just go with it. Let it take you where it does. Relax. And then we will just have a little area here where the waterfall is going over here, dropping down here. We can have a path leading alongside some waterfalls. Why not? It's our own world. We can make it up. There's no rules. Okay, so I'm going to take those colors again, and I'm going to add some little steps. Maybe some old. So we'll just sort of make these oblong shapes, one leading up to the next. They're going to get smaller and smaller. The reason why they're going to get smaller and smaller is that so we create some perspective. Things farther away are smaller. Now let's take a little bit of white. We'll have little lines. I'm going to use the corner of my brush. These are going to be our little steps, and then they're going to come down here and start to get a little bit bigger. Okay, and then the next thing we're going to do is take some black with our blue, and we're going to come right underneath those steps and make some shadows. So these are the other side, the flat side in front that it's not seeing the light, so it's darker. Use a little bit of green in there with your black. We don't want to have too much of a shadow. At the top here, should be a little more faded. And then I'm going to add a little bit extra black down on this one here. And a little bit extra right here where we have the leaves and flowers and whatnot, making it a little bit darker. Okay, back over to our tinted white. We'll add a little bit of light, and maybe there's another step right here as well, in between. I'm going to rinse my brush out. And I'm going to add a little bit more white on this little flat brush. Just white, and we're going to soften some of these falls. Now we're going to add a few branches, tree trunks with a number 2 rigger brush. I'm going to take some black, some burnt sienna, some more water. I'm going to start on the side here and gently pull. Letting those 2 colors sort of marble and come out naturally of the brush. I'll come over this side, twist and twisting while I'm pulling, and then bring it in different directions. Add a little bit extra burnt sienna here and there. A little bit of water. A little bit of yellow ochre. A little bit of sap green. Making a pretty muddy color now. It's sort of like an army green, kind of mossy green. And I'm just going to gently pull down exactly that, a little bit of hanging, draping moss. Remember, using complementary colors in your paintings is a great way to make a painting extra special. I think in the last few weeks or so, I've shown you 4 different methods of painting weeping willows and draping moss on trees, different brushes, different techniques. So by now, you shouldn't have any excuses. 1 or more of those techniques that I've shown you should have helped you. And if you don't get it the first time, it's okay. You just need to practice. I'm going to bring some off the top here too. A little bit of white this time with the yellow ochre and the green and the first muddy base color. A little bit of water is going to be your best friend when using a long liner or rigger brush like this. Okay, I like how soft that looks. I'm just going to take a dry mop brush here and just sweep, 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 exaggerating those lines even more. And I'm just going to add a final little bit of light purple, again to a mop brush. And I'm going to add a few little soft purpley bushes here along the side. maybe some kind of growing over and across the path. Let's add a few little sweeps of this. Just make some magic happen in the painting and have it just look so soft and sort of drippy looking. Now I really like how this painting turned out. I'm going to sign it down here, and I'm just going to choose one of my really small liner brushes. So I'm going to take a little bit of water. I'm going to show you guys how I sign my paintings because a lot of you are asking how to do that. I'm going to take a little bit of purple and white. Need a little bit of white in there so that I have enough of a light color here that it's going to show up against this dark. So I don't recommend signing too big. You can just put your initials if you want. I like to sign my full name because there's probably a lot of names with the initials JY, right? So I want to do, there's probably a lot of Joni Youngs as well, but hopefully you guys know my paintings from any other Joni Youngs out there. So anyways, I just wanted to show you guys, include how and where I sign my paintings. I hope you guys enjoyed this one and you have fun painting along. I'll see you all very soon in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Take care. Bye.